Hello.
Hi.
How's everyone? You know, isn't that beautiful, wonderful that people are talking Jewish, Christian, Muslim, now Baha'i, and it's all one and the same. Absolutely one and the same. This is why Baha'is believe that religions are chapters of the same book. Chapters of the same book. It's the same truth, renewed and revised for the new age. You know, in the words of Baha'u'llah, if you deny one of them, you deny all of them. If you want to deny Islam or deny Christianity, deny Judaism, it's not God anymore. It becomes divisive. And the purpose of interfaith, the way we understand it, is to bring us all together. To see that the meaning of religion is love and nothing else. We're not going to. I noticed all of you guys took 7.5 minutes, so I have 9 minutes. I have 2 more minutes. That was the 2 minutes. The rest is 7.5. Now, from the Baha'i perspective, it's basically the same thing. You know, all religions teach us forgiveness on an individual basis, the best we can. But then, if you go look at the second passage on page 7. That Abu Baha, who was the eldest son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of Baha'i faith, tells us that if you just keep on the question of forgiveness, and anybody who does anything in society, just leave them alone, it'll be a big mess. So society and the world needs justice. Justice is fundamental. And just like what Bassam told us, the same thing in the third passage from the Hidden Words of Baha'u'llah, his smallest book, but there are a lot of beautiful counsels. I'll just read the first passage of it. O Son of Spirit, the best beloved of all things in my sight, in the sight of God, is justice. Turn not away therefrom, if thou desirest me, and neglect it not, that I may confide in thee. If you want to be with God, first and foremost is justice. And that justice, again, some of you friends mentioned, is really sits within us. It's our conscience. And if that conscience is doing something wrong, the first one to know it is ourselves, right? That we're not right with God. We're not right with our fellow man. There is something wrong, and we have to correct it. So these are all essential. Now, as I was reflecting on this issue, you know, I picked up a book from my library, many books that I haven't quite read. This was one of them. I glanced through them, but I hadn't quite read it. It is the story of the 100 tyrants of the world. 100 tyrants. Tyrants. You know, these dictators who are free to kill anyone they want. So I just named 10 or 12 of them that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. It starts with Alexander the Great. Why is he so great? He is the one who is one of the first people that we know in history who caused so much massacre across the globe. We know him as great. He did such a great job destroying cities, destroying people's homes and all of that, and said that this is all mine. And then the time of Jesus, Herod and Nero, and sometime you know, around that time, Caligula, right? Attila, we all, a little later, we're all familiar with these names, like Genghis Khan, and who was other ones, the old world. And the story of Henry VIII was interesting. You know, any of the wife that they didn't like, he would just kill them and marry some more. This is the way he behaved. And all the, you know, some more great people. Napoleon, another big killer. But I noticed when I went through this story of the 100 people, it has been all across the globe, from Africa and Europe and Americas and Asia. All of these people have done so much damage. And of course, the name of the newer ones we all know, right? Stalin and Hitler and Mussolini and Mao and Idi Amin and Pol Pot, Mobutu, and then it ends with Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, and Ayatollah Khomeini. You know, I'm more familiar with Ayatollah Khomeini from the place where I was born, I happened to have been raised in a Baha'i family, and so one of his first mandates is that, the way he understood Quran, that you're infidels and we have to kill you. So a lot of Baha'is, prominent Baha'is, doctors, professors, were executed, tortured, in the most brutal way, including some of my family members. On an individual basis, we need to forgive. But on a global basis, there has to be justice. There has to be justice. Now, Saddam Hussein, for example, yes, we don't get into the politics of it, and we're not talking about war peace, but did you know that he had a special grinding machine that whoever he didn't like, he would grind them, like meat grinder? This is the way some of these people have behaved. And then it comes all the way through the present. I picked up the last issue of Time magazine, that Black Lives Matter. You all are familiar with all the bad things that are happening, right? From Georgia to Smyrna, just a few weeks ago, to what happened in South Carolina, all across the globe. So the world is suffering from prejudice, from superstitions, from lack of equality. And so we have come to the point where we really need to seek justice. And that justice resides within us. And one good place to start is through this interfaith, that we are all members of the same family. In the words of Allah, the span of the earth is one country, and mankind is citizens. You're all the fruits and the branches of one tree, the flowers of one garden. And that is really the message that we are getting from all these beautiful interfaith gatherings. Thank you. The discussion that we had in this interfaith meeting dealt with justice from all different religious perspectives, which is true, which is all basically one and the same. But the follow-up discussion with the group brought me to this deeper understanding that although justice is the same, but the application of justice has changed through time. So, for example, in Old Testament or in Quran, we read about stoning people or cutting people's hands and feet and such, even for what we consider to be smallest of deviations from some people's perspective. So, for example, people were supposed to be stoned to death, from what I understand, even for disobeying their parents, or even from not complying with Sabbath rules or things such as that. So obviously we have grown beyond that. And in the discussions we had with our Jewish, Christian, Muslim friends, some were still a little hesitant in saying that the application of justice would be changed. But these are the accidentals of the time or the place of revelation. And because of the fact that humanity was immature 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. So the application of justice then has to change. It cannot remain the same. The other point discussed was that all these atrocities in the name of religion is perhaps because of different understanding from what the religion's perspective is, and therefore they do what they do in terms of beheading people or all other atrocities that we see in today's world. From the Baha'i perspective, this is the absence of religion. This is abuse of religious truth. This is not understanding it. This is piling up prejudices, superstitions, unfounded dogmas that causes this. And ultimately, what Baha'u'llah teaches us is that religion, any religion, should be a cause of love and affection. If it causes this kind of inhumanity of man to man, not having any religion is far better than having any religion at all. After I read this story of tyrants through the centuries, I had sort of a bad feeling, and I wrote this poem. It's called "The Sense of Shame." For the savagery of Mongols and other brutal regimes, for the crimes of some popes during centuries of crusades and inquisition, for the brutal regimes of Hitler and Stalin, Pol Pot, Idi Amin, and Saddam Hussein, for inhumanity of mafias, drug lords, and Osama, for the massacres in Cambodia, Rwanda, Bosnia, and elsewhere, for terrorist attacks of Al-Qaeda Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, Khorasan, and ISIS, for cruelties of Khalkhali and of others in the name of religion in my homeland, for racial discrimination here and elsewhere, for nationalistic prejudices and pride, for brutality toward women through time, for religious intolerance through history, for economic injustice, where over 4 billion of the world population lives under poverty line with inadequate food, housing, healthcare, and education, while some 2,000 individuals worldwide have accumulated billions of dollars for the savagery of the 2 world wars and the Holocaust that it entailed, for the inhumanity of man to man, resulting in the massacre of some 200 million people during the last century alone. I feel ashamed to call myself a human being. I feel saddened by all these atrocities. I wish I were from another planet. I wish I were from another species. I wish I were just a butterfly. I wrote this on September 11, 2001 and updated it on April 11, 2015. May God help us all become humans. Thank you.